everybody. Welcome to Bestie Book Reviews. I'm here with my bestie, Mandy.
And I'm here with my bestie, Jessica. And I'm here with my bestie, Jessica.
So today's video is all about the books that we think are underhyped.
Yes, this was kind of inspired from our collaboration video where we realized we had a lot of books that we wanted to use for the underhyped part.
Yes. So we each have 5 books that we're going to talk about that could use a little bit more hype.
Yes.
So before we get started, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We are still doing our Road to 1K giveaway, and our next level is going to be 500. So when we hit 500 subscribers, what are we giving away, Mandy?
This Dark Readers Romance Cinch Sack backpack here. It has lots of goodies in it, including
Twisted Love by Anna Huang.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. And lots of, like Mandy said, lots of other fun goodies are going to be stuffed into that cinch sack. And so we'll be giving that away again, like I said, when we hit 500 subscribers. We are also giving away another entry for those of you who are following us on Instagram, and that is linked down below in the description.
Yes, so follow us on Instagram and subscribe to our channel and hit that like button.
Yep, do that.
All right.
Okay, so when you chose your hyped books or underhyped books, Mandy, how did you choose those?
So I went to Goodreads and I looked at all my favorites that I have marked. I do 5 stars, and then if it's like even beyond a 5-star, it becomes a favorite. So I looked at my favorites and I looked at the ones that had the least amount of ratings on Goodreads. I didn't include any Calla Reed because I included her book on the collab video, and I didn't include Karen Crompton because I talked about her on the collab video too. So these are different authors.
Okay.
Dun,
okay.
Dun, dun.
Well, I did. I included the Calla Reed because you know what?
But you didn't have her on your on the collab video.
No, I didn't. No. So yay. Okay. So why don't you get started with but were you looking at a rating number, like how many reviews?
I didn't look at reviews. I looked at how many people rated it.
But how many were you, like, was there a certain number?
Oh, so my highest rated one was 7,000.
Okay, that's kind of what I was looking at too. I think I didn't have anything higher than 7, I don't think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was definitely, they were all definitely under that 8,000 reviews.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I just want to see if we were on the same page for that. With that. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. So what was your first book?
Okay. My first book is Irish Kiss by Sienna Blake.
Oh yeah, I want to read this one.
It's so good. Yeah. So it has 2,650 ratings, but it is fantastic. Everybody needs to go read it. So this is about Saoirse, and she has like this really, really bad home life. Like her mom is a drug addict and has just kind of checked out, or maybe her mom was an alcoholic. Her mom's checked out. I can't remember if it was alcoholism or drug addict, but her mom is checked out. And she ends up hanging out with some boys in this alley, and they're smoking pot, and she agrees to try pot for the very first time. And before anything happens, the cops show up and the boys take off, and she's left with the pot. And this leads her, so this takes place in Ireland, and she gets assigned a juvenile parole type officer. I can't
they call it something different. I remember you saying it.
J10 or something like that. Oh, JLO. That's what it was. I can't read my own handwriting. Liaison officer. That's what it is. And so this is where Diarmid comes into play. So he's assigned to her, and he feels for her because he sees like how shitty of a home life she has, and that she's actually a really good kid who's trying to do well. And she just has this shitty life. And her dad is also a drug like kingpin, and he's in prison. And so the two of them end up spending a lot of time together because he feels for her and he sees that she has a lot of potential. She's extremely brilliant, and he wants to help her be able to succeed in life. And so by spending all this time together, she starts to develop feelings for him. So he's older than her, obviously. And things get a little too complicated, and he ends up leaving and cutting things off with her. And she feels horribly, horribly betrayed by this. And then they end up meeting up again because later she ends up getting assigned to him again, but in a different town. And that's more of the story than I want to talk about or give away. But it is so incredibly good. It's very forbidden since he's like, in this capacity of being an authority figure over her and would definitely lose his job over this. So it definitely makes it very, not even taboo, just like straight up forbidden.
Yeah.
Like, so, it's so incredibly good though. The whole series is really good, but yes.
Yeah, that's definitely on my list, and it has been since you first read it. The never ending TBR.
Yes.
Yeah. The fact that it's Irish too, like, yummy.
I did this for our Irish romances, but it like goes so far beyond an Irish romance. Like it.
Yeah. That is so sad.
A lot of those things.
Been on my TBR since March.
Yeah. You need to read it.
I know. I wish there was audio for it, then I could actually like listen to it while I was at work, but it makes things easier.
Okay. What's your first one?
Okay. So everybody talks about H.D. Carlton and the cat and mouse duet, but nobody ever talks about Shallow River, which is my first one. So Shallow River is so good. I honestly think I kind of like it more than the cat and mouse duet. Just saying. More people need to read this. So this one is about River. Shallow River. Get it? Haha. Okay. So River is in a relationship with Ryan. When she's in college, she meets Ryan. He is on the fast track to becoming a lawyer. And he's just getting out of a relationship with this other girl, and she is determined. Like, she's out partying. She comes from a crappy home life, but she has, turned her life around.'s in college. She's making something of herself, and she sees this guy, and she is going to get him. And we fast forward a couple of years, and she's got him. She's got what she wants. And so she goes to dinner to meet his parents. It's taken him a while to introduce her to his parents, but she's going to meet his parents. And when she gets there, she finds out that he has a brother, Miko. Now, they've been dating for a couple of years, and he's never mentioned a brother. And she's like, okay, this is a little odd, but okay. Now, Miko is a detective on the local police force, which, okay. They don't like each other. The brothers apparently don't like each other. So she immediately doesn't like the brother because she's going to be on her boyfriend's side. In the meantime, she's also being contacted by Ryan's ex-girlfriend, who she believes to be a complete bitch because she's trying to break them up, because she just thinks that they're jealous. The girl's jealous and just trying to break them up. As the relationship progresses, we realize that Ryan is manipulating her. Ryan is abusing her. And Ryan is, completely, skewing the whole relationship to benefit him. And again, abusing her. And she is so into it and because she has been abused her whole life and in these really crummy situations, she's like, well, I'm the only one that can love him. And I'm the only one that can, it's me. He loves me. And we're going to get through this together. And he's not going to hurt me again. And she's completely in this situation. And Miko steps in and he's trying to pull her out of it. But they hate each other because, it is so good. Obviously, it's dark. Obviously, you've got all of these, triggers. Definitely check your trigger warnings. But oh my gosh, the relationship, the way this works out. Oh my gosh, it is so good. It is so good. Things happen in this that I would never condone in everyday life. Like triggers up the wall, but it is so good. I don't even know if I can explain it. Like, I don't even know that I'm explaining it properly. Just go read it. Go read it.
Sometimes it's really hard to convey books. Like my next one, it's like you can't talk about stuff that happens like kind of at the beginning because it gives away too much other stuff. So it's really difficult to explain other than just being like, just go read it.
I know.
So that is definitely my next book. And Jessica, when we first started our little reading journey, we put tags on Goodreads with each other's names. And then we kind of started our convincing my bestie thing. So I don't know if you've been adding to that. I haven't.
Oh, I haven't.
But this, when I looked this one up, I was like, oh, I have this tagged for Jessica to read. So this is like nothing I've ever read before. And I've read over 600 books in the last like year and a half. So when I say it's like nothing I've ever read before, that should hold some weight, right?
Yeah.
So go read this book. It's called A Letter to Delilah by Jackson Kidman. And what?
Oh, yeah. I just remember you talking about it.
Yes. So
Yes.
I'm looking at my notes. It only has 185 ratings, and it's probably one of like the best books ever. It is definitely a romance book. So don't think when I'm like, it's like nothing I've ever read before that you're not getting the romance, the HEA and all that. I call it HEA, the HEA. Anyway, so this is about Amelia and Josh. And Amelia goes to interview Josh, who's like this temperamental artist, and he doesn't really like stuff like that. But she agrees to go interview him. So she goes to the gallery to do that. And he and her, they actually knew each other when they're kids. But he doesn't really recognize her, right? Like that it doesn't click at first for him. So when she leaves the gallery out on the street, she finds this letter written to Delilah. And it is written in such a beautiful way that you're like, oh my gosh, this is a great letter. And Delilah, like, we don't know who Delilah is, but Amelia falls in love with the guy that writes the letter to Delilah without ever meeting him, like just based on how beautifully written this letter is. So as I'm reading the book, you're trying to figure out who is Delilah, how does all this make sense? And it goes back and forth between Amelia and Josh. And oh my gosh, the book is just perfection. Just go read it. Go read it. So good.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, so my next book is by another popular author. Everybody has heard of Still Beating by Jennifer Hartman. And I mean, it's been a very popular book, but I was shocked to find out that The Wrong Heart, is it on your list?
Yep.
Quickly find another one.
I worked so hard on my notes. Okay. I'll find a different one.
While I'm talking. Quick. Because I don't have a lot to say without giving it away. So The Wrong Heart by Jennifer Hartman doesn't have a lot of views. I mean, it doesn't have a lot of reviews. It's not that popular, and it is so good.
I was floored by that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, am I looking at this wrong? When I saw it on there, I couldn't believe it.
I honestly almost think that this one is kind of darker than Still Beating as far as some of the elements that we touch on in this book.
But that's what she writes. Lotus, Still Beating, yes. Like she writes dark. Nobody should be like, oh my gosh. No. I feel like The Wrong Heart is probably like my favorite by her.
It's so good.
I loved it.
So good. It really is.
Okay. Tell us about it while I frantically look for another not hyped enough book.
Sorry. So this is about Melody and Parker. So Melody loses her husband at the very beginning of this book, and her husband is an organ donor. Melody convinces the doctor to get her information on the person who the heart was donated to, and she writes an email to that person. In the meantime, certain events occur, and because of certain things that happen, Melody is forced to go to a suicide prevention type support group, and that is where she meets Parker, who is also a part of this group, and they begin a friendship relationship, and there's other friendships that transpire because of this. And so this is kind of there. You have the relationship that she begins through email with this person that she believes has her husband's heart. And then you also have the situation with her and Parker that she has through this support group. But there's a lot of questions, there's a lot of don't knows, there's a lot in this book. It is just, I can't say anything else without giving away what happens in this book. So good. But definitely check triggers. There's a lot of sad and horrible things that happen in this book. There's a lot that you deal with as far as the grief goes and suicide and other things in this book. But oh my gosh, it just rips your heart out. But it's so good.
All right. So if that isn't a testament to go read The Wrong Heart, I don't know what would be.
Exactly.
So my next book is The Other Brother by Daisy Jane. And Jessica, I have tried to get you to read this before too. What is wrong with you?
I don't know. I've seen a lot of Daisy Jane lately, and I almost messaged you. This is the one I almost messaged you about this week and asked if it was good because I saw one of her little videos about it on Instagram, and I was like, oh, this looks really good. I wonder if Mandy's read it yet.
Yeah, she does a lot of videos, and she goes like, she's not afraid to do like some kink stuff, but The Other Brother is not written like that. So if you've seen some of her videos and you're like, ooh, that's a little more than I want to dive into, The Other Brother is not like that. So I highly recommend it. So I love it because it's like that forbidden age gap romance again. So Cordelia's dad dies and leaves her to her uncle, who's like her dad's best friend, but she's been raised with him like he's her uncle. And she is a teenager. She's almost done with high school. So you could just imagine like she doesn't have other family. So like really her only choice is to go live with him. And he, again, has been like her uncle her entire life. So you would think that this would go okay. Well, it doesn't. He can't handle it. And he ends up driving her and dropping her off at his brother's house and basically tells his brother, I can't handle it. She's been through so much. You have to help her. And he's just like, what? Like, so Quentin's very confused, like, and he's pissed at his brother for like basically abandoning Cordelia, like during this horrible time of need that she's having. And he is a psychologist, and so he is like, okay, well, I'm going to try and help her. It's not her fault. I'm going to do the best I can. They have never met before. So like literally she's dropped off with a stranger and he's welcoming a stranger into his house. This is a complete slow burn. So it's done right, in my opinion, because of they don't know each other and he's supposed to be taking care of her. He wants to do what's right for her and help her heal and move forward and finish school. So it's definitely done really, really well. I did not want this book to end. It is incredibly good. Incredibly good. Incredibly good. Go read it.
Okay.
Go read it. It definitely is the slow burn, but I feel like in this situation, you have to have that slow burn or you borderline on the hero looking like creepy, you know?
Yeah.
Or predatory or, you know, that
yeah.
sort of thing. But it's like, you don't even realize you're reading a slow burn. Does that make sense? Like you're so
Like
sucked
it's
into their
so
story.
good that,
Yeah.
Okay, so my next one is another one that you and I both love.
Ooh, what is it?
Broken Wings by Izzy Sweet and Sean Moriarty.
I need to go back and read the rest of that series.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. Okay, guys. So like I said, this is Broken Wings by Izzy Sweet and Sean Moriarty. So this is about Allie and Coy. So 5 years before the story really gets going, Allie wakes up from a coma and she doesn't remember anything. Like she doesn't remember how she got there. She doesn't know who she is. She's lost like a chunk of her memory. Not all of her memory, but a few years of her memory. And she's pregnant. And she don't know, like she just don't remember anything. So we fast forward 5 years later, and she runs into Koi in I think it's a grocery store. I can't quite remember where they run into it. It's a store of some kind, and Koi sees her and knows exactly who she is, and he sees the kid, and it knows exactly who that is too. It is an MC romance. When he sees him, he's like, "Yep, that's mine, and that's mine." He's been searching for her the whole time because that was his girl. And there, like, he knows what happened. He knows what happened. The whole thing. Her parents have kept them apart. But I'm not going to say much more because it'll take it. It just tells you the whole story. But just go read it. Just go read it. Like, she don't remember anything, but he knows. He knows what happened. So, yeah. I mean, really, Mandy, don't you think there's not much more you can say?
Nope.
Yeah, so good.
Yeah.
Mandy's so good has rubbed off on me, and that's all I can say, apparently.
Hey, now.
It's become a
motto. A book is so good. Like, that is the highest praise, and you just need to go grab the book.
I'm going to make bracelets that say so good. So good.
Okay, so my book that I'm pulling in instead of the wrong part. And I can't believe I missed this one. If I would, this would have been here before, because Jessica, this is one you and I both really like. And it only has 248 ratings.
Oh, what?
Yeah. The Soul Always Remembers by Georgia Cates. I can't believe that I missed this.
This book is right there. It is right there with The Surviving Trace.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm glad that we had that duplicate so I could pull this gem out for everybody.
Yeah.
So this is about Caroline. And since she was about 4 years old, she keeps having these visions of the past, but they're like super clear. And she feels like she's there as the female in these visions, seeing things happening. She ends up getting diagnosed as schizophrenic because she has a horrible, controlling mother. Just an awful mom. And her grandma believes her. Her grandma believes that she's not actually schizophrenic and that she's seeing things. And her grandma will actually ask her about what she sees and kind of tries to help her work through it a little bit. This book is impossible to tell you anything in addition to that because of the things that happen. It is 2 books. They're both out, so you can read them right now, which you should go do. So this has like a little time travel elements to it, some mystery because you don't know what's happening, and almost 2 love stories are happening in this book. Just go read it. Like, Jessica, I don't know, would there be anything else you would add to that other than just go read it?
There's great audio for both because I listened to them. Like, I remember the second book's audio wasn't out when I listened to the first, and it was like within a matter of days that it came out. So I think I postponed it because I was like, oh my gosh, I have to listen to them. I remember pausing, having to stop at work, and I would look at my friend that I work with, and I'd just be like, at certain parts. She still remembers this book. We were talking about it the other day because of the way I would stop and pause and just be like, oh my God. Just in certain parts of the book. So she remembers. Like, she's never read it. And when I start talking about it, she knows exactly what book I'm talking about.
Yeah, you are so sucked into this book. And I know people will talk about like, oh, is it predictable or any of that? I don't think it's predictable. But the thing is when you're reading this book, you're not thinking ahead of what's going to happen because you're right there in that moment.
I was blown away. And it takes place in New Orleans. So there are some
fun historical fiction elements.
There is, even though it takes place it kind of takes place in both now and present time and some historical to it. It's just, I don't even know how to explain it. It was epic.
Just go read it.
Just go read it. It really is. Do yourself
a favor and go read it.
It was so good. It was Mandy says.
Okay, Jessica. What's your next one?
So my next one, we actually talked about this in our firefighter romance video. This is Igniting Ivy. This whole series is actually good. There's 3 books. I think you read these. Did you read these?
I didn't. I thought maybe you're going to talk about the Cockloft.
No, not Cockloft. Igniting Ivy by Samantha Christie. This one is very emotional. This is about Ivy and Sebastian. So Ivy is dealing with a crud ton of grief. Definitely check trigger warnings. This is a really hard one to get through, especially in the beginning, especially as a parent. It's just really rough. And then Sebastian is kind of lost and looking for closure on his own. It starts out in Hawaii. They both end up in Hawaii on a trip, alone on a trip. And they're on a helicopter tour of the island. And Sebastian looks over and he sees Ivy, and he sees her sad eyes, like she's kind of teared up, and he's there on his honeymoon by himself. So you can kind of figure that one out, but he sees how sad she looks, and he befriends her, and she's kind of closed off and there for her own reasons, and this is their story and how he gets her to open up and move on. But when they get back from Hawaii, they realize that they live in the same area, and he's they're able to continue a relationship, or they're able to move on with this. But this whole series is actually really good. But all three books, they're different guys in the firefighting things, but these books they're not just like the typical firefighter books. There's emotion, and there's emotion behind them. There's real feelings behind them. They're not just the cutesy little firefighter books. They're so good. They're just really good. So just go read them. Just go read them.
This is reminding me, like a week or so ago, I was complaining to you about having nothing to read, and you're like, we have a whole channel full of recommendations.
Yes.
And so as you're talking about these different books, I'm like, oh yeah, I wanted to go read that. And then you're saying that about some of the books I'm bringing up too. So it's just funny.
It is, because we do that to each other. We'll call each other and be like, oh, I don't even know what to read. And you did that to me last week. And I was like, we have a whole damn channel, Mandy. Go watch one of our videos. See, it works both ways.
Yes.
Yep. We even do it to ourselves.
Okay. So my last book, Jessica, is by a very popular author right now, like super popular. She's all over Book Talk, Instagram, YouTube, all of that stuff. But this book only has 2,194 ratings.
Okay.
I was shocked. I was like, I didn't know. I almost didn't even look at the ratings on it because I'm like, there's no way. Okay. So this is Reason to Believe by Rebecca Yarros. It is fantastic. And I can't believe you haven't read it, Jessica, because it has kids in it, and you usually love like kids. And kids are done right.
This is the one that I really want to read that you've talked about, right?
Probably.
This is the one where she is the teacher?
Yes.
Yes, I want to read this one.
Yes. Oh, it is so good. So good. So this is about Harper, and she is a pre-K teacher. And one of her students and his like baby brother are put into emergency like foster care. And she says, I'll take them, because she doesn't want them getting split up. There's nowhere for them to go. So she's just like, I'll take them. But the problem is that her her apartment is not set up for this. And so she's not sure where she's going to go. And her brother's best friend offers his place. He just had it built. He's going to be moving back, but he's not coming back for like a month. And so she assumes, okay, well, I can stay there with the boys until they're able to find some relatives that are going to take them in and like kind of sort out the situation that's going on there. So she believes this is all temporary. Okay. So she moves in with the kids, and in walks Knox. She's covered in puke, and he is looking hot. And they end up setting up a fake relationship, basically, so she can keep the boys, because there's some problems finding different family members and things. So they're going to be in care for a little bit longer. So he agrees to fake a relationship with her so that they can keep the boys. And he just like jumps right in and starts playing dad. And of course, them being thrown in the situation together, there's some feelings, because she's always had a crush on him. And he's hot. He's a firefighter. Oh, it is so incredibly good. I loved how the situation with the kids was written into the story. It is fantastic. And Rebecca Yarros is like all over right now. So I was really surprised more people aren't hitting like her books from before. But this is definitely one to go read. It is incredibly good. And even if you don't normally like kids and stories, this is so well done. So well done.
Are we done? Because I need to go read that.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Go read.
No, I need to do my last book actually, but then we need to go so I can do that.
Okay.
Okay, so
Go
let's do
quick,
this.
Jessica.
Okay.
Go quick.
If I know, go quick. If you have ever been to our channel, you know that this is going to be the #1 book that Mandy and I will always recommend. It's like our one goal in life is to get everybody to read this daggone book.
Yes.
This is the book. This is it, right? Like
It's so good.
This is the book. This is the book. If you don't read anything from this channel.
And if you've been watching our channel, you hear us talk about Calla Reed. Like her books, she writes different types of books. Like The 16th Need is nothing like The Surviving Trace. And her Fairfax series, nothing like any of those books. And they are all so incredibly good. I don't know how to give higher praise to her, or I would. I cannot believe she is not like the #1 author in the United States. Like, to me, she's right up there with Carrie Ann Cole.
Yeah. I mean,
like,
honestly,
her book actually sits on my favorite shelf with Carrie Ann Cole,
Karen
Crompton, Penelope Douglas with Birthday Girl, and Lucia Franco. Those are my favorites right there.
It this way. If I got the tsunami warning right now and had to choose a book to run away with
between your husband and your books,
I'm good to go. I'm ready to go. Kids, get in the car.
The hubby can grab a life jacket. The books can't. Okay.
I'm good, guys. I'm good. Like, if you were to ask me, what is your favorite book of all time? Right here. This is it. This is the one. I mean, I might have to sit for a second to make that decision. But really, this ATN and Serene are it. They're it. So this, if you've not been to our channel ever, let me just tell you what this is about. So this is a trilogy. This is about Serene and ATN. So Serene is from our time, and she runs an antique store, and she comes across a picture of these 4 guys in South Carolina in the early 1900s. And she is just drawn to this picture and becomes obsessed with it. And there's one guy that just kind of stands out in the picture. And over a series of days, or it's not very long, but she's just kind of obsessed with this picture. She's engaged to this guy named Will, and he gets a little fed up with her being absolutely obsessed with this picture. And one night after they go out to dinner, he throws it into the fireplace, and she tries to rescue it, and whatever, they get in a fight, and all this great stuff happens. And later that night, she starts to hear sounds of a party, and she just kind of falls through time and ends up at this plantation house in Charleston, South Carolina. And I think it's in 1909 is when it starts, or somewhere around there. It's early 1900s. And when she gets there, everybody knows her. They know she's Serene. She doesn't know them. And she's in the ballroom. She's at this big party. And they're all talking to her by name. And all of a sudden, this guy shows up, and he's saying he's her husband. And she's like, excuse me, what? He's married to her, ATN. He's married to her. But she's like, no, the Serene in that time is a haggard bitch and horrible to him. And she gets him to believe her after a while that she is not from his time. She's not the same. He can tell she's not the same. And then they are working to get her back to her time and try to figure out why she's there. There's mystery involved. There's, the angst. Oh my gosh, the angst. And when they finally, like, the spark, when it gets there, you're just like, damn, I'm here for it. It is, oh my, you know what I mean? Like, oh, geez, Louise. The fire between these two.
Yes.
Oh, man. Yeah, I just, he does it for me.
All right. Well, there you have it, folks. Books that you really need to go read. If you've not read them, go read them. Jessica and I really should like challenge each other to go and read each other's not hyped enough books that we haven't read yet.
Yeah, we should
try and do that like by the end of the month. Dun, dun, dun.
Oh, Mandy. There's only a couple weeks left in the end of the month.
I know, but we each only have a couple books that we haven't read off that list.
No, I know.
I think I'm sitting better than you are, though, on that.
I think so.
Especially
I think you are.
Oh, one of mine.
So yeah. All right. Okay, guys. So those are our books that need more hype. So go give them more hype. Go give them more love. Go read them.
Yes, please do.
Yeah. But thank you for watching.
Make sure to check back on Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays for new videos from us.
Until then, we'll see you guys in the next video.